point is, the outsider's opinion really don't matter, because they only take their opinion based upon a season of your life. In other words, they only read a chapter and then want to label the book. And there's somebody here today, there's somebody here tonight, and the truth of the matter is, you did do what they said, but that's not who you are. You did go where they said you went, but that's not who you are. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, stop arguing about what they said. You guilty of it. Oh, I wish I had somebody. Let me make myself feel at home, if y'all don't mind. Brother, if I asked that woman what kind of man you were, based upon the time she encountered you, to her, you may be a no good, low down, dirty dog. Sister, if I asked that man what kind of woman you are, to him, based upon when he encountered you, you may be a fast Jezebel. But the truth of the matter is, that may be what he knew, but that's not who you are. Because that's only a chapter out of my life. I wish I had somebody here to help me. I am who I am, not what I've done. Oh, okay, you ain't feeling me like I need you to. You see, they are. I saw a fella in the back when I was sitting down waiting to come out. He had a camera. And a camera takes picture and it captures the moment. And it's true what the camera shows, because it was just at that moment. It's not lying. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. They don't lie. And you cannot become consumed with the opinions of the outsider, because all they got is snapshots. All they got of your life is just snapshot. But I know somebody is here tonight, and you can attest to the fact you got the picture, but my life is not a snapshot. Baby, it's a movie. And depending on when you caught me, you may have known some. Oh, I ain't got nobody here to help me. If there anybody here who can attest to the fact that there was a time in my life I was tore up from the floor up, but thanks be to God, that's not the whole book. Grab somebody by the hand, look at them in the eye and say, neighbor, you only read one chapter. Now the chapter is true. Some say, but that ain't the whole book. You got to keep reading the whole book, because there's more to me than what I've done. There's more to me than the mistakes I've made. There's more to me than the faults I have. There is more. Do me a favor real quick. Make me feel like I'm at home. Give somebody a high five. Say, you got to keep reading the book. You got to keep reading the book. Just like you can't judge a book by its cover, you can't determine the value by reading a chapter. There's more to me. And you know what the good news is? As long as you live in, God's still writing. As long as you live in, God is still writing. As long as you living. Jesus said, can I testify just for a minute? I said, can I testify just for a minute? Oh, yeah. I told you I'll celebrate 13 years tomorrow. But now if you ask somebody the first 6 years, they'd have told you and my wife, girl, you ought to just leave him. He ain't gonna never change. The leopard can't change his spot, and a river can't change his course. But that was just chapters. But I was still in the maturing process. And right, a leopard can't change his spots, and a river can't change his course. But you ain't talking about leopards in water. You're talking about somebody in the hands of a mighty God. I want you to get this. Really want you to get this. I'm almost finished, but do me a favor, please, if you don't mind. I know crowd participation has become so normal and, overkill in preaching. But if you do, just hug somebody and tell them, say, neighbor, you did it. Come on, look at him, say, you did it. Stop trying to defend it. Stop trying to justify it. You did it. But the good news is just because I did it, that's not who I am. Because that was just a season. And at least got 4 seasons in a year. Now, some of y'all looking at me like I'm crazy when I said to say you did it. You know why? Because sin always looks worse on somebody else than it does on you. You see, when somebody else mess up, that's a low down, dirty shame. They ought to know better than that. But when you do it, well, ain't nobody perfect. We all got something we're struggling with. But the truth of the matter is, I did it, but that's not who I am. The opinion of the outsiders. Now listen, Jesus knew what their response would be, because when he asked them, he said, who do men say the Son of Man am? Son of Man, identifying with humanity. So he says, who do the people say I am? Because I understand they can't see beyond my flesh. I know what their answer is going to be, because they can only see me in the physical form. And they don't understand that there's more to me than flesh. I have divinity on the inside of me. And I came by to tell somebody tonight, there's more to you than your flesh. If you are a child of God, God lives on the inside of you. That's the opinion of the outsiders. Now, Jesus says, I'm almost a little more comfortable, y'all. I'm still nervous, but just a little bit more comfortable. He says, okay, all right, that's who they say. I got that. That's them. But now, who do y'all say? Watch him. I am. He doesn't say the Son of Man. The I am. That eternity identity. Because can't nobody say that but God. Can't nobody say I am but the one that I am that I am. And so now he brings it closer home. He says, boys, who you say that I am? Now, Bishop, maybe tonight you could help me work with this, because Jesus is real cool. And I would have been teed off, because the text lets us know that none of them knew on their own. Now, we give Peter the credit, but Peter didn't know it. And Jesus straightened Peter out before he could even get happy. He said, now, Peter said, thou art the Christ, Son of God. He said, now, shh. You didn't come up with that. That was by divine revelation. So now, y'all, if God had to tell Peter, and he's the only one answered, that means none of them really knew. Now, that's an insult. Jesus then fed these Negroes, then let them do miracles, gave them power, and here he is asking, who y'all say I am? What's your opinion? And none of them stinky, Bigfoot, musty, fish-eating disciples could answer him. I don't know about you, but if I didn't fed you, if I didn't gave you when you didn't have, if I've given your life purpose, if there's anybody who can stand up and say, that ain't who he is, but this is who it is, it ought to be you. What's the problem here? You got the opinion of the outsiders who define him based upon a snapshot. But then you've got the opinion of the insiders who only define him, watch this, or rather who can't define him because they're too close to him. They can't define him because they can't assess his value. And they can't assess his value because they have gotten too comfortable. What is this in my hand? It's a Bible. But now if I put it close to my face, and if you didn't tell me what it was, it may be an iPad or it may be a leather journal. I don't know it because it's too. Sometimes people don't know who you are because they're too close to you. They don't know your value because they're too close to you. Let me see if I can't. Let me. You see, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't get so close that you can't treasure me. Don't get so close that you devalue me. Let me see. Why do they devalue you? Because they've seen you go through some stuff. This is $100 bill. All about you, Holy Spirit. What is it? But it's been stepped on. It's been kicked around. It's been misused. But it still hasn't left this value. I know I've been stepped on, and I know you've seen me go through things, but I still got my value. But wait a minute, City of Refuge, not only do I still have my value, somebody still want me. Because I'm still able to be used. That's the opinion of the outsiders. Repeat after me. Say, don't be consumed with the opinion of the outsiders, because they only judge you by a snapshot. They only judge you by one chapter, and God is still writing. Now look at his neighbor and say, neighbor, don't be consumed with the opinion of the insiders, because they're too close to see your value. Well, whose opinion matters? Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. He says, watch this. God's opinion about Jesus was that Jesus was his son. And every time the Father referred to Jesus, he called him his son. I'll close when I tell you this. The only opinion that matters is God's. And y'all, his opinion won't ever change.
Lord have mercy.